Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And in today's video, I want to talk about a specific champion. This one person has propelled my clan boss damage by a significant margin, and this guy we have to talk about him because he is a fairly free to play available champion. What I mean by that, I don't think he's that difficult to obtain, right, over the course of your account. And if you do get your hands on Farrakhan the Fat, I overlooked him for a very, very long time. But this one guy, and he's not that hard to build either, helped me get to a one key Ultra Nightmare Demon Lord situation. I'm also using him in my Chimera too. And anywhere that you can really use him, I'm also including him into Hydra as well. So Clan Boss in general, he is an amazing character. So if you do have a copy of him, he is just truly great. I want to talk about him in today's video and why, if you do have him, he should be in your team, unless you happen to have someone truly a lot better than this. But he is a great option if you have him. And because I overlooked him, I think it's a good time to talk about him. So before we start with the rest of the video, though, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you doing? Download using the QR code in the top right, make a new account, make an alt account, whatever you want. Get Corrado Fox Hunter for free, and also 3 amazing epic champions, Ugo, Lady Annabelle, and Fane at account level 10, 20, and 30. And Fane, we're going to talk about a little bit because she was formerly in my Ultra Nightmare Demon Lord team, and I want to talk about how I replaced her. But you can also use the Demon Slayer, the promo code, Demon Slayer, for Tholan Falbeard of the Dwarf faction, an amazing Demon Slayer champion there too, who is also part of my clan boss team. And we're going to be talking about how I've kind of evolved from my roster and how things have really changed. Now, before we go any further, I do want to talk about why Farrakhan's so amazing as far as this kit goes. It's actually a pretty simplistic kit, but it's really shocking, and we're going to go into some gameplay as to why things really scale up so much heavily for him. So his passive body block deflects 20% of all incoming damage that this champion receives onto all allies. So basically, it just allows that it spreads the damage evenly across all other allies. So he takes a little bit less damage, which is funny because you would think that he's actually taking it for others, but no, that is not actually the case here. But it's this ability. Now, you guys might know this guy from Fire Knight because he's one of the best champions to use for that as well, because it's an all ally assist move that increases crit rate by 30% and crit damage by 30%. This 30% crit damage is very, very important and very strong across all of your allies, right? That's more damage for everyone. Now, for your main DPS characters, you're probably sitting at 100% crit rate anyways, but for some of your support characters, this will actually increase additional damage as well for them as well. So everyone's doing more damage, right? And it's on a cooldown of 4, and this is pretty good. Now, one thing that I would like to do in the future, which I'm not doing currently, because my Farrakhan actually has way too much accuracy. I don't think I need this much for the clan boss stuff that I'm running. And so what I would like to do is try to drop this perception gear that I'm running right now. I'm using a mixture of perception and pinpoint gear. I would like to drop this to relentless gear so that he can have a chance of taking more turns, which will then get back around to his A3 beatdown a little bit more. The rest of his skills, though, Brand of Shame, so on a cooldown of 3 with books, definitely recommend booking this guy out. He does an HP burn and 2 poison debuffs. Now, this is not bad. This does some decent damage, but it also might get to the point, depending on how many debuffs you have on Demon Lord or other bosses, that the poisons might end up getting in the way of some of your other debuffs. So it really depends here. And also, he has a 50% chance of applying a decreased debuff if you happen to still need that, if you don't have it on anyone else. So this is still quite nice as well. And again, as far as gearing him goes, gearing him out, like I said, my ideal situation, I think, is that I would like to kind of, put some good relentless gear on him, but I don't actually have, I don't actually have a lot of good ones. And that's the problem. Like, I want to make sure that I still have the speed. I just kind of want to drop a little bit of accuracy and then maintain a 4-piece relentless. That's probably what I would end up doing, and keeping probably these 2 perception pieces, or one of these 2, and then the boots with something else, and then replacing the other pieces. So trying to make sure that I don't drop too much speed, but then just basically taking more turns, because more turns means more turns back around to the A3 for the ally assist, that kind of thing, and making sure that this buff is always up and just doing more damage overall. That's where a lot of his damage is going to come from on Clan Boss. As far as the way that I build him, though, you're definitely going to want to have War Master for sure. Most of your characters are going to have War Master for Clan Boss anyways, but I did go down. This is my current tree. It could be a little bit better, but that's just what I've done. Let's talk about where I'm using him, right? And how this has changed. So when I was running Demon Lord, I was not using Farrakhan the Fat. And before that, I was doing maybe 35 to 40 million damage on Ultra Nightmare on a key, on a single key. And I've since been able to one key my Ultra Nightmare. Now, granted, I do have a couple of new characters since the last couple of months when I did a previous video on the Demon Lord. But I'll tell you what things look like. So this is my team right now. Hotatsu, Michinaki, Estrid Dream Song, who is my speed lead, kind of bumping up everyone's speed and attack, that kind of thing. Tholan Falbeard is basically my headliner. He's my main damage character as far as where I get that from. And Farrakhan just makes everyone else better. Now, what did my team look like before this? And I was able to make about 40 million damage previous to Farrakhan the Fat. So I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna show you what it used to look like. And it was basically, so I have Hotatsu in the leader position because he's eating the stun, and I do not have a Tholan in the leader position. But Estrid was the one character that I had. Previously, I used to use Alice as my main DPS, but now I've since moved on to Tholan Falbeard. And instead of Hotatsu, I was previously using Rector Drath as my main healer. I had no other option basically for a significantly long time. But I think that Hotatsu just has better buffs. Hotatsu has defense up and leech, which really helps to heal your characters significantly, especially with War Master. It's almost full heals all the time. And before Michinaki, I was using Fane, who I talked about as one of the promo code characters. And she actually has a really good kit, right? So I do want to look at her just very briefly. It's not a video of a Fane, but she has a lot of good debuffs. Decrease defense, weaken, decrease attack, and poison. But I just could not run her with Farrakhan because it was just way too many poisons going out, and it was just causing a problem with how many debuffs, because you can only have 10 debuffs on a character. Stacking that many poisons was just becoming problematic. Also, when you have characters applying higher turns of weaken than what Tholan can do, he is not able to reapply his own weaken, and therefore he is not able to take extra turns. So I got rid of Fane, and then I got lucky and pulled Michinaki, right? But I want to show you what my team previously looked like. So it was basically this. It was Rector Drath, it was Geomancer, and it was Fane. This was essentially my team that I was able to get about 35 to 40 million damage on Ultra Nightmare. But then I slowly started replacing my characters. So the two characters that are the same, right, is going to be Tholan and Estrid. But I slowly kind of changed my team until I got to this. So now we're at Farrakhan the Fat, we're at Hotatsu and Michinaki, and those characters replace that. But you don't have to use these characters. Farrakhan alone propelled my damage about 20 to 30 million before I even had Michinaki. Now I didn't quite get to 70 million, the one key Ultra Nightmare, but I had a very high damage. Basically, before this, I was essentially running Fane. I think I was running this, right, and then I would stop using the A2 on Farrakhan. So that was something that I was doing as well. And so I just want to show you just on manual, and I'm not going to run through the whole thing because this is going to take a while, right? But I'm going to run the quick battle here just to show you like what can happen. Actually, I'm not going to run the quick. I'm going to do the actual battle, but we're not going to sit here and watch the whole thing. I want to show you how this plays out, right? And so I'm going to put my box away so that you can see through this, and basically how the turns end up taking. So this beatdown, this A3 from Farrakhan the Fat, is just so good, right? Because you're getting that crit damage buff for everyone else, and it's really good. And so you can see that we're going to play one or two more turns and just show what my total damage is at by the time that they're taking turns. And I'm usually able to at least double my damage from what the current boss turn count is. Now, Rector Drath, who I previously used, was a great champion, but Hotatsu just has so many other better things, including Leech, which is really good, and the defense up survivability. I also stick him in the middle because he usually is the one that's going to take the stun, and he can self-cleanse his stun once every 3 turns. So this doesn't happen all the time, but usually does. And so you can see that he also applies so we get defense down from 2 characters. We actually get it from Michinaki, and if we still need it, that we call it. He didn't actually cleanse it that time, which is interesting. But Michinaki can put defense down, and also Farrakhan can on his A1 as well if necessary. So making sure that you have the whole range of debuffs on your Demon Lord team is going to be very important, because you can kind of see that I have like attack down, defense down, weaken, those two together are going to be really important. I am using the A2 still on Farrakhan here, which does a little bit of poison damage. We have a leech buff or debuff, which is going to help us. And then Tholan also does apply smite, but I only have a 3 red brimstone blessing, so it doesn't happen all the time, but it is additional damage when he's able to land that. You can kind of see that I just landed that over there. So I'm kind of close to my debuff count. Like if Farrakhan tries to land that A2, like he might end up capping out there because we're kind of at 9 debuffs with the brimstone. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you can see my boss count here, oh, I'm surprised that went to the Estrid. The stun went to Estrid. So I guess it really depends sometimes who has what buffs, because unfortunately with Tholan and Estrid taking more turns because of their skills, that some of their defensive buffs do end up falling off. But you can kind of see here that my boss turn count, is almost double. It's usually double. I mean, there's a little bit of RNG with crit damage and things like that. I'm going to jump ahead so that we can see towards the end what things look like and then put that into perspective with the damage. Now, you're not going to see that Farrakhan's going to be the one putting out the damage himself, but he's just basically making everyone else hit harder, which is why we're here. All right, so I wanted to check in just a little bit. Like, we're 5 minutes in here. We're at boss turn count 14, and we are pretty much about double the damage here. I just wanted to kind of check back in afterwards and kind of show you guys the progress that I'm making on Demon Lord, but we're going to come back when we get towards the end here. Okay, I think we might be coming to a close pretty soon. Now, the one thing that I will say, and this isn't a team for everyone, is that I don't have an AoE reser. And there goes Farrakhan the Fat. Frankly, I don't have any resers. And so the reason why I have Hotatsu over Retrodrath is as well that, I'm expecting that my boss turn count is going to be higher, and therefore I should be able to put out more damage than had I been running Retrodrath, who only can solo res. I don't have any AoE resers. That would be maybe the next upgrade, is maybe if I could trade Estrid Dream Song for some AoE reser that does kind of similar buffs, or a speed up buff that she does. That's the only problem that I have here, and it looks like we probably are. We lost Fat, who again has helped to put out significant damage for this team. So don't discount that. We're gonna make an extra turn, it looks like, and we will probably make the 70 million mark here, even without him at the end. So just some crazy numbers that we're able to put out, and again, a lot of this damage for me is just propelling Tholan Falbeard, and in this case, Michinaki for me. But I do want to say that I made some pretty significant numbers with Farrakhan without Michinaki. I was kind of averaging around 50 to 60 million. It's just I didn't cross that 70 million threshold without Michinaki. So we're going to end this here pretty soon. I think we're going to be biting it, and then I'll show you what the results are. Okay, 14 minutes in. I forgot what turn that was, but we got 75, almost 76 million damage here. So I am really happy for that. And again, you can see on the screen there just how much damage Farrakhan. Go back, rewind. I kind of skipped it a little bit early, actually. My bad. That how much damage that both Tholan and Michinaki were able to put out thanks to Farrakhan the Fat and his additional crit damage and his team up and all of that. So really, really good. Definitely a great character that I think is a bit more accessible, right? I'm not saying go get Michinaki or go get Tholan Falbeard. You can use this with DPS characters that you have at your disposal that are going to help you do a little bit better. And in Hydra, he does extremely well too. Now, unfortunately for me and my clan, we're only doing normal in Hydra, so I'm not saying like this is the end all be all. But the reason why Farrakhan is so good here as well, just like in the other clan bosses, but now you have 6 characters. Now, my Farrakhan, where my Farrakhan is in normal right now. I do need to make some adjustments to Hydra, so don't take what I'm saying here for Hydra as gospel or anything like that. But he is going to make a huge impact for your overall damage here in Hydra as well. Setting up for Hydra is just really, really difficult. So again, I'm not here to give you Hydra advice, but he is someone that you can do there as well. And then for Chimera, you can see that I'm using him down here. Where am I? Down here, right? I'm still having to use Retrodrath, and the reason for this is because I do need revives for Ram. That's the only thing, because I'm not using Hotatsu here, which is unfortunate because I don't really have any good revivers, and that's kind of where I'm lacking in my roster. But you can see that I am using Farrakhan the Fat. He does fulfill a lot of the trials for Chimera. I was able to actually kill 6 of the different trials across my normal Chimera run here. And while he actually did some decent damage, but he was mainly there to propel everyone else's damage up a little bit further. namely Tholin Falbeard. So a really great support character. Also, you can make insane use for him in other dungeons. You can use him in Iron Twins Fortress if you want, but a lot of times you're going to be using him in Fire Knight's Castle because, and we're going to be talking about this in a separate video as well, because Fire Knights is where you need to do the extra hits, right? So it's going to be really important to have a character like Varric the Fat to bring all of your characters into assist. So just a really all-around great character that is good to have in your roster. I hope, honestly, I hope I pull more just so I can get some pluses on him. I actually have I started. I was gonna say ascending, but no, you know what I mean. Where you can add dupe characters to others. You know, I just started doing that to my roster more recently. Because I filled out my faction guardian epic stuff. So there we go. Varric the Fat, one of the best epic characters for clan boss, in my opinion. Anyways, you can let me know if yours is different in the comments down below, but I really wanted to bring this to your guys' attention. Now, of course, before we go, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing this game yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen or in the link description down below to get Karato Fox Hunter of the Shadowkins for free, and 3 amazing epics, Ugo, Lady Annabelle, and Fane at account level 10, 20, and 30. Fane, who is also going to be really good for Demon Lord if you do not have any other better characters. And also Tholin Falbeard, who is the headliner of my account, honestly. The promo code Demon Slayer for all new players within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. So that's going to be it for me, everybody, and I'll see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.